Hey everybody, welcome to the Kyle and Ricky show. It's Kyle and Ricky.
I'm Kyle.
I'm also Kyle.
Oh man, it's not gonna work.
Just us today, and then maybe Reed, because Reed has returned home, so he may appear at some point. He may just kind of apparate within my video frame here, as he does.
If he doesn't see his shadow, then he will emerge from his nest and join the podcast. But if he does, we're doomed to a long summer.
That sounds more accurate here in Texas.
107-degree summers.
Okay. I always have to like wait for 30 seconds to mute this the stream as it shows up, because it will feed the audio back through on my computer, which will just ruin the whole thing.
Why don't you just mute it at the beginning like I did?
It doesn't give me the option when
Weird.
I first access it. So, did you see the new Ghostbusters trailer?
I did see the new Ghostbusters trailer.
What did you think of the new Ghostbusters trailer?
I'm confused. Is it just a reboot? Or is it...
Yeah, like, that's a good question. It wasn't very clear about that, was it?
No, because it shows, like... It shows the same building. Yeah. It shows the same car, eventually. It shows the Ghostbusters logo.
So, Ian and I have noticed for the past couple of years that the quality of a trailer usually has no correlation to the quality of the movie it's connected to. But still, obviously, is trying to sell you on a certain movie. That being said, the movie this trailer is selling me is like a generic, cheesy summer comedy wearing the skin of Ghostbusters. I was not impressed with the trailer.
It's definitely really weird. Like, there's got to be like a Bill Murray cameo in there, right? Like something.
But see, that's worse. That's just adding on to what the problem is with the... Again, the movie could be completely different.
Did they reveal who wrote it?
I don't know. Were they keeping that secret?
Well, because I mean, it's a trailer, so like they don't have they're not gonna have. Hold on, here we go. Producers, director Paul Feig. Okay, here we go. Story by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis.
Oh, interesting.
So I have hope now. Harold Ramis, may he rest in peace. But Dan Aykroyd, writing the story.
Well, and like, again, maybe it's fine. Maybe they only showed the crappy parts in the trailer, but they shouldn't do that.
Apparently, Chris Hemsworth is in it.
Interesting.
If Chris Hemsworth is like the Rick Moranis character, then I'm sold. Because I just want to see Chris Hemsworth in like nerdy glasses.
I do want to see Chris Hemsworth in more comedy stuff after the Avengers 2.
I do also feel like he could just walk around as Thor asking people if they're the Keymaster, and that would just be fine also.
Like fully just in his full accent and full costume, just walking up to people.
Hold on, here's full writing credits. A little less now.
We have 2 people watching. I see you both, even though you're not talking. I know you're there.
So it's writing credits. Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, and Ivan Reitman are credited as based on the film Ghostbusters, written by and directed by, respectively. But then there's also Katie Dippold and Paul Feig, and Paul Feig is the new director, and they're actually given the written by credit.
Yeah, I don't know. The trailer made it look like they only used these really kind of predictable one-liner shots.
We got a cast list. And Bill Murray is listed on the cast list, as is Dan Aykroyd.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's I don't know. It's something, that movies are doing now. They're just kind of trying to you can do a follow-up or a sequel or something like that fairly well most of the time, and I think they've pulled it off in some cases. Like, I think Star Wars went really well, because the thing that makes Star Wars popular is exactly what movie studios are currently trying to use, which is Star Wars is like all lore. Like, people aren't watching Star Wars necessarily because the characters or the writing are fantastic examples of, like, original, compelling people. They're watching it because the Star Wars universe is cool, which actually works really well with the current, let's go back and make a new thing in this franchise kind of mentality. Ghostbusters was funny because you had 4 really good comedians at, like, the height of their careers stuck in this situation, and they could have been stuck in any situation, it would have been funny. So it's weird to me that they're trying to make a follow-up to that movie when the ghost busting was not the thing people were actually all that interested in. It was those actors.
Right. Like, I mean, it was definitely a movie that's created on, like, just founded on its acting.
Yeah.
I mean, the situations are written, they're written by the actors themselves, and it was funny. But I'm a little worried because a sequel is one thing. Star Wars did a sequel. Star Wars was a sequel, and, you can say that it's been just a rehash all you want, but I mean, ultimately new ideas were put out there and new things did happen. It was a continuation of the story. Now, when you reboot franchises, I don't like that.
Well, I don't even think this is a reboot. They mention in the trailer that the previous events happened. Yeah, but they're still doing the exact, like, there were literally repetitions of the same shots in the trailer in the same events. So I don't know what they're doing. Like, what have they just, like, what is it? They seem to be doing both at the same time. It's like a sequel and a reboot simultaneously.
I just hope it's not a reboot.
It's I don't know. It's weird. I saw Slimer in it, and they have the same, like, I don't know. It just looks like they're trying to repeat the same formula and stuff. And I'm all for, the whole female cast thing obviously is not the thing that's bothering me remotely. And if that is bothering anyone, they're dumb. But the weird kind of, like, let's just take the Ghostbusters skin and try to put new people in it and probably make, like, a few cultural references or something. I don't know. At one point, like, Melissa McCarthy says to one of the other ones, like, "You're the best person at quantum physics," or something, and I'm like, ah, crap, this is gonna suck.
Well, I've already... See, because I'm worried because I've been subjected to the torment that is Fuller House.
Really? You tried that?
I didn't.
Oh, somebody, roommates.
I have some roommates. And have you watched it yet?
I know. I didn't. Well, I never watched Full House much when I was a kid. It wasn't a show that I watched a bunch, so I did not feel...
no interest.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you watched Full House as a kid, you probably shouldn't have much interest. But one thing that they do, and I think it's like the worst thing in the world, but they do shot-for-shot reshoots of older scenes that they had in the original Full House, right?
Yeah.
Which is fine, but when they do them, they, like, move the screen down and they side-by-side shot the original scene and and it's just like, hey, in case you didn't remember, this is a shot-for-shot, like, re-scene of us singing the Stones song.
Who would make that decision? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
All right, Mr. Film School, tell us why this is a bad decision.
What? Because what? It's okay. It'd be bad enough if you're just okay. Look, if you want to do a shot-for-shot remake, like paying homage to the original source material, that's one thing, and that could be argued good or bad depending on the intention of it. I think, like, if you're doing it for some artistic purpose, like you're reintroducing some theme or something from the previous show back into this that you're then going to take and move in a different direction, like. In fact, this is my argument for the new Star Wars against the people who say that it was just a rehash of the first movie.
Like,
I say it was not a rehash. It was mirroring the first movie the same way that, these are not a good example, so I probably shouldn't even be making this example, but the prequels did the same thing. They mirrored the first series, and it's kind of what Star Wars has been the whole way through, is mirroring the beginning of the story and then branching it off in a different direction, and the new Star Wars did that. It was like, here's kind of the same beginning as the first movie, but then by the end, you could very clearly see that it was going in its own direction, and you know the next two movies are going to be something brand new. And so if they were doing something like that, that would be one thing. If they're just doing it to hit the nostalgia button on people, that becomes a problem. If they're showing you both scenes next to each other, that's trying to hit your nostalgia button and just calling you a freaking moron right to your face. Exactly. Like, what kind of decision? I don't understand that. I can't even imagine someone defending that decision. That is so weird.
The thing is, like, some people aren't going to know it's a shot-for-shot reshot of a scene, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing. You would think that you're doing it for the sake of those people who would recognize it. It's like, remember this?
The people who do remember it are going to be like, oh, man. And then, like, hopefully the scene you've decided to reshoot is good enough that the people who don't know about it will be like, oh, man, I liked that.
Yeah. In fact, now that you're bringing that up, it's almost like they're trying to manufacture false nostalgia for a moment that people haven't seen yet. Like, this is the thing that happened in the old show. Don't you want to go watch the old show and this show now at the same time?
Please, we're in syndication.
That's messed up. I'm going to say hi to people in the chat now because we've been ignoring them. Hello to Halo Shot 36. How's it go? He's calling us handsome. And also, I'll be cool. I'll be cool. Nice. And Davey Hurst and Chewy with 4 exclamation marks.
He's said Leo.
Yeah. So yeah, that is our review of the Ghostbusters trailer and Fuller House, which got already like renewed for a second season on Netflix anyway.
No way.
Yep.
You know what actually upsets me more than anything about that show? So, I mean, I don't know if you watch much of Full House, but like whatever. One of the girls is like the new main character.
Yeah.
And like, they had her be married, and then that husband mysteriously died. Just so she could have kids, right? And so, of course, her name can't be Tanner, which was like the Tanner family, right, in the beginning,
right,
in the first show. So, can you guess what her last name is, please?
Please don't tell me it rhymes with Tanner.
No, it's better. Guess the last name that they gave the characters.
Is it something related to Tanner, or is it like another?
It's Fuller.
Oh my god.
Are you upset yet?
Most of the Netflix shows have been really good so far. What happened with this?
Oh, I mean, Daredevil.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
Second season.
Oh man, you know what?
What?
The new season of Daredevil airs the day before I leave the country.
I mean...
Like, I'm gonna get back and everybody's gonna have watched it already.
You're just gonna have to shut yourself off from all social media.
Well, that won't be hard because I'll be in another country. But it just means I gotta wait a week.
Wait, when were you leaving the country?
Oh, I'm going to Ireland. Did I not tell you?
I thought you already went to Ireland.
No, I went to England and Scotland.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Going to Ireland now.
Can't let the Irish feel left out.
The non-UK Ireland, so I had to get euros this time. I have them actually right here. I got a nice stack of euros from the bank. They have prettier money than we do.
They have prettier money than we do.
It's all colorful and shiny.
Have you seen those new cards with like that chip in it?
I have one. I always forget that I have it because some of the if you try to scan one, they'll be like you get like this really loud buzzing noise out of the machine, making you telling everyone in line you're a moron before you plug it in the right way. Yeah.
I was like, I don't want one of those. Hopefully I don't get one.
They actually use those almost exclusively in the UK. Like you have to tell them that you have a swipe card if that's what you're using.
Really?
So that they can, that's what I had to do when I was over there. Because they use those chips by default. They're supposed to be better in some way. And America just hasn't fully adopted it yet because we're massive and full of people who don't like things changing.
Well, it's true. I don't like things changing. America. Except during election years, and all I can talk about is change. America. But
yeah, let's not get into that.
yeah, Punisher, Daredevil fans.
That is, I am actually gonna mark that as a rule for White Noise. We are not allowed to talk about the presidential race in any capacity on White Noise.
Deal.
This is the one. This is a safe haven from any of
I don't
that.
want to talk about it. Halo Shot 36, Punisher and Daredevil fan for life.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Punisher
What
and how
other, what other shows were Netflix originals that were good other than?
Kimmy Schmidt was good.
Oh,
Yeah,
Kimmy
Unbreakable
Schmidt was
Kimmy Schmidt.
good.
That was a
Why
really good
does
one.
that not have a second season?
I think it's going to. I just think they haven't. Yeah, I don't know if it's in production yet or not. I could look that up, I guess. But yeah, that one was good. Arrested Development was all right.
I liked the Arrested Development.
Yeah.
It grows on you, and you have to watch it all.
Yeah, I kind of want to watch it a second time because I've only seen it once and I've heard that's incorrect. Yeah, I need to watch it more than once.
You can watch it once and be okay, but you just have to watch it all, and you actually have to pay attention to it, which is
yeah. I think it was it was interesting that they tried to do a new format, and I always applaud people for trying to do new formats. But I think it illustrated an interesting like writing tip, sort of, which is that if you have a cast full of really unlikable characters, they can be really funny as long as you are switching constantly between them, which is what Arrested Development did for its first 3 seasons, right? Like, all the characters really are terrible people, but they're funny because they're annoying each other, and every time one is about to become unbearable, they jump to another one. But then when it's just you stuck with one of them for 30 minutes, you're the person they are now annoying, rather than the other characters on the screen.
That's true.
It doesn't work quite as well. Like, Job is funny in 3-minute doses, but when you have him there for 30 minutes or 40 minutes, it starts to drag on a bit.
Well, I mean, it was a pretty big cast, and all of them went on to do better things than Arrested Development, arguably.
Bigger things. I like Arrested Development a lot.
Bigger things. I liked Scott Pilgrim. I think Michael Cera did do better things.
I guess Michael Cera has done a lot of stuff, yeah. Yeah,
whether you love him or hate him, you cannot say Scott Pilgrim was bad.
I've heard people say that, but I disagree with them.
I've heard people say that. Jessica Jones is another Marvel Netflix series.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched that one. I don't want to because I actually cannot watch Jessica Jones because the villain is David Tennant.
What?
Yeah.
Well, he's already been a villain before.
I haven't seen. David Tennant is the Doctor to me, and I already have a problem seeing actors who play the Doctor out of that context. It's just weird for some reason. Like, I have no problem like with anybody else. I'm like, yes, they're an actor, they play other characters. With that character, I have this really weird issue seeing him outside of that context. And I've heard the character that David Tennant plays, and I don't want to watch that show.
I guess.
Because I've heard described who he is. Huh?
He's a bad guy in Harry Potter.
I actually have not seen Harry Potter.
What? Did you read it?
No.
You ever read it? You never watched it?
No.
How? That's like pretty close to I haven't seen Star Wars.
Yeah, I know. I haven't seen or watched a lot of things, and Harry Potter is like one of the big ones. It was Lord of the Rings for a while was in that list too, but I watched it for the first time like a year and a half ago. I'm currently rewatching it now. It's fantastic. It made me feel angry that I hadn't watched it before.
Feel like you want to go to New Zealand?
Yeah, no, I definitely do. It's one of the available trips from this website I've been using, and I plan on taking it at some point.
You know what the weird, craziest thing is? Have you heard of a show called, I think it's called Shannara Chronicles?
No.
Well, it is a high fantasy, like, TV show, right?
Yeah.
Like, New Zealand, like, establishing shots and everything, right? And it's on MTV.
What?
Yeah. It's like the future, and so, like, there's, like, now magic and elves and druids and stuff, and, like, one guy has a gun, and it's, like, an ancient relic.
Interesting.
And, like, they, like, go into like abandoned caves, and it's like an old like caved in high school.
That
It's like
sounds similar to an idea I've been working on, which is frustrating, but I think the chat caught up to me saying I haven't watched or read Harry Potter.
yeah. What have you done with your life?
See, so I've actually heard Ian described Harry Potter. He was talking about Harry Potter, and there's a whole the way he described it. My age group actually was the perfect age group to read the books because the books aged along with all of us. Like they started as sort of a children's book and then got more adult as that group of people got older. And I missed that window at the beginning. Like I didn't start when it was, and so now especially now I don't have time to go read through all of them.
Well, I mean, you do have time.
I don't. I'm serious. I do not have time.
Just watch the movies. I mean, I don't like saying
I will
that,
probably try to watch the movies at some point,
it
at
hurts
least so that
to
I
say
know the
this.
references.
But I mean, you gotta get that Harry Potter in you. There's an 8th one coming out now.
Yeah, I heard that.
Like it might be a book, it might be a play. I'm not sure. And they're making a movie based on like one of the like when they like release the Harry Potter books.
Yeah.
Like sometimes in between they release just like these little like 50-page paperback, like they're supposed to be like textbooks from the Harry Potter world.
Interesting.
So they're making a movie based on one of those. And all that thing was...
That sounds like some expanding The Hobbit into 3 movies bullcrap.
It was a 50-page book just cataloging every single magical creature in the Harry Potter universe.
That's
with
the one
like
they're making the movie off of?
Star rankings of dangerousness.
That sounds like a Pokemon guidebook I had once.
Yeah, personal tales of like how the author encountered them.
Yeah.
And then like Harry and Ron drawing in the margins.
That's pretty clever, actually.
So, it was sort of funny. And they're now making a movie based on the author of that book. Like the guy who went around and...
I can see that working if they get a
every...
good screenwriter behind it. That could be entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to stretch. I mean, but they made Cat in the Hat 2 hours long. With Michael Myers. So they can do anything in Hollywood.
Liberal Pyromania said, really, New Zealand should just close up shop and be live-action roleplay all the time. I would do that if that happened. They still have... I'm not going to go... Like, I've actually also... I've been rewatching The Lord of the Rings and watching all the behind-the-scenes documentaries, which are as long, if not longer, than the movies themselves. And the stuff they did for the movie is insane, because it's kind of like... Did you ever watch any behind-the-scenes stuff on DVDs when you were a kid?
Yes. Whenever we would rent a DVD, we would watch the movie and then sit and watch every special feature.
Yeah.
Remember when special features was like a big deal?
Yeah. Well, I still watch them, and I did back then, and when you're a kid, it's like, it looks just crazy and magical, and like, how do they ever pull this stuff off? And now that we're making movies, it's kind of it's a little bit less of a distance, It's like, I can look at that and be like, okay, that's like what we do, but with a lot of money. But it's basically the same thing, right?
Like,
but
did you ever have...
watching the Lord of the Rings ones... It's just like being a kid again. Like it's like you just watch this. Like, how did they pull this off? This is all these people are out of their minds.
Did you the Monsters on the same as like special features? The Monsters Inc. DVD.
I don't remember if I watched those.
There's like 10 pages of menus and special features and stuff like that. Like, secret things to click on to unlock extra special features, and like I was like back when there was like work put into a DVD.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't really get that with digital downloads, I guess. It's kind of the same thing that happened with Newgrounds. I actually used to enjoy making the preloaders on the animations I put on Newgrounds, because you could, you had that screen when you started where it would have the loading bar and then the play button.
Oh yeah.
And you could program those to just add all these little things in if you wanted, and I always had a whole lot of fun with that. But
Music Musket, you've been missing a lot of deep thoughts on movies. But it's okay. This will all be put on YouTube later, so you can catch up.
and on our website at whitelightninghq.com/podcasts. Maybe on
Yeah.
iTunes at some point. I got to figure out how to make an RSS feed for our audio podcast, and then I can get it on iTunes.
Oh my goodness. We need to be as good as I know this is not actually Magic the Gathering related, but there's a guy who podcasts for Magic the Gathering, and he calls it the Drive to Work podcast because he
Yeah,
records it.
I've heard about that. I don't know. That's weird that I've heard about that, but yes, I know. This is a guy who works on the. He's somebody who works on the game, right?
Yes. And at his live, he did like a live podcast
Yeah.
at one of the PAXs, and he demanded for his immersion that they get him a car seat with a seat belt and a steering wheel, and he sat on stage in this fake car setup and did the podcast.
Nice.
He couldn't break his immersion. I'm just imagining that being us in the future. We're just gonna be like sitting at like crappy desks. It's like no, we can't do it like at a panel booth. We have to like bring our desks
We
and
have
not
to go
be
into individual rooms and
Yeah.
call each other on Skype.
Which-
Putting it up
Go
on
ahead.
iTunes would be useful, though, just because that's the only system that gives you any kind of metrics. That's also why you like having the video versions on YouTube has been useful. Because back when we used to do these podcasts, we had no idea who was listening to them. Like we'd get an email every now and then, but there was no comment system. There was no way to hear if anybody to know if anybody was actually listening to them at all.
Burntell was listening.
Burntell, well, okay, yeah, we always knew Burntell was listening, but yeah, iTunes is like is still to this day the only way to like get decent podcast metrics of any kind, and even then they're really vague. Like I remember looking at them back when we did get the old white noise on it, and it was just like there were 10 people. That was the extent of the information. You're like, wait, what did those 10 people do? There were 10 people.
I remember those like sitting in your home theater room,
Yeah.
and which was quote unquote soundproof.
Yeah, that didn't work very well because microphone was crap back then.
But you made me record your lines in that hot attic of yours. You had the quote unquote soundproof room. But it's okay. I forgive you. Those lines.
I
still
don't think
have
you do
meanings.
because you bring this up like every podcast and nobody knows what you're talking about.
It's okay. Kyle has a lot of Christmas wreaths in his attic. In case you ever wondered.
We are shooting a new Civ 5 video tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's going to be
That's nice.
citizens protesting all the bad decisions the government is making.
Oh, that sounds actually really good.
I think it'll be a pretty good one. I have to take one more editing pass of the script after this podcast is over, but it turned out pretty well.
How many people do you have for the
And
film?
it'll be me and Caesar, who is in an extra role on a couple of our other videos.
And just two?
yeah, just two of us.
Oh, not
It should
bad.
be
Not bad.
very easy to shoot. I'm doing this, and I'm trying to edit together
Hey,
something.
Light.
What? Oh, hi, Opalite. Hi.
Oh, he's leaving.
Oh, he's leaving. Okay. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm trying to. I have to get that sketch done. I have to shoot and edit another sketch next Saturday. I have to shoot 2 counterintelligence episodes today and edit one of those, and then I have to finish editing several videos that may have something to do with eventually getting to 10,000 subscribers, and have to do all that before I leave in 2 weeks.
When is Counterintelligence going to play Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes?
I don't know. Was it you who suggested that? I remember somebody suggesting that.
I don't see how that isn't the perfect thing for that show.
Yeah, we might try it. Cause see, we're still trying to like make it center around a certain topic every time. So all of our games have been sort of designed to be related to that. I'm finishing up the second game episode today, and that'll be posted on Monday. It's a very different show now than it was, but it's much more fun to to actually record.
It's definitely more interesting than community comments.
I hope so. Yeah, I would hope that the time and money that's gone into this show would make it more entertaining than community comments. It gets more views.
Except for the jail community comments. That's the best comments. We're all just sitting in a jail cell.
Those were fun for their own reasons. Although I like doing the podcast again too, because
it's definitely fun.
I kind of missed that. I didn't realize I missed that until we recorded the first episode of this new series. And I was re-uploading it, and I was like, yeah, I remember doing this. This was nice.
Oh yeah, surprise! I forgot to tell you, I'm going to be in Austin.
Oh, when?
Tomorrow?
What?
My brother flew in from Alaska to spend spring break in Austin. So I'm going to drive down to see him. And my sister's also driving down from Indianapolis. So I'll see her. And so I'll be in town for like 2 days.
Cool.
2 or 3 days, if you want to do anything.
Okay. I'll see if I can work anything out. I don't know. Like I said, we're filming tomorrow, and that's about as far as my plans go at the moment.
But yeah, I'm this new job as an Uber driver is definitely been fun and rewarding. And
you were doing that. You're like the third one of my friends to be Uber driving now.
Oh man, well, I'm the first of your friends to be Uber driving in Lubbock.
Yeah,
which is definitely more interesting than it probably would be, or not interesting, definitely easier than probably in Austin.
Probably easier, yeah. What's your craziest Uber story?
I went to go pick up some people, and it was 5 people, all girls, and you can't have 5 people in my car. You can only take 4. That's Uber rules. So I was just gonna cancel the trip. I was like, sorry, I can't take all 5 of you. You guys will have to call an Uber XL for that. And they're like, oh no, don't worry. And they all immediately just started casting votes. And then they voted one person out. And that person looked a little sad. They walked back in the house. And I was like, is she okay? Like, I mean, we can get another Uber over here if you guys want to go in 2 groups. No, she'll be fine. Hopped in my car.
Holy crap.
Like, it wasn't even like they thought about it or anything like that. It was just immediate. When I told them that not all 5 could go, they like one of them just goes like, I vote you. And then like they all just cast a vote.
So that was it? Like she didn't like catch back up with them later? That was just she was done for the day?
I don't know.
Wow. That is
I don't know.
That is harsh.
It was the first time I ever used the word savage. It was intense. I was pretty surprised. And then like they got in, they're like, she'll be fine, and they just like forgot. They're like, let's turn up the radio, I love Justin Bieber. And then I was like, alright, sounds like
I was thinking you were gonna like bring up some drunk person or something, but I think that's actually way worse.
Oh no. That doesn't really happen that much.
Yeah, I think in Austin you get that a lot, probably.
I mean people get in drunk all the time, but that's good that they're using Uber and not driving.
Yeah, good point.
So, I mean, I had somebody spill an entire. I had somebody drive them to a gas station to get cigarettes, and then from there to a Whataburger, and then back to their house.
Huh. That is an interesting combination of things, that they're willing to spend money on the car, but
they don't have a car. And Uber's pretty cheap in Lubbock.
Oh, is it?
So they cost them like $6, and like they got to go to the gas station. They bought energy drinks and cigarettes, and then went to Whataburger and bought like some some meal of some sort.
Huh.
And then take me back home. All right.
I have personally been applying for new jobs because mine is very boring.
I've heard. Any news back from the Rooster Teeth people?
No, no response at all.
Did you
So
send
that
them a
was
resume, or did they ask for
disappointing.
anything else?
I
Or what
sent
did
them
they...
like a bunch of sample videos because that's what they wanted, is examples of finished projects that you had written for, because I was applying for a writing job, but I never got a response back. So yeah, I'm still looking. I'm trying to look for writing jobs because I think writing would be fun, but there aren't a whole lot of writing jobs available that, you know, the kind of writing, like if you just look up writing jobs, it's all technical writing or something like that. It's not
Right.
what I want to do. So
Professional writing.
having trouble with it at the moment. But
What about editing jobs?
I have to really, really, really care about the place I'm working for to do an editing job, because that's what I'm doing now, and I don't, and it's boring.
News is news.
I wanted to talk about Deadpool, but I
Well,
was
we can
gonna
talk.
have, well, Reed wanted to talk about Deadpool too. I was gonna see if Reed showed up. Liberal Pyromania keeps just typing Hunger Games into the chat, and I don't know why.
He's only typed it once.
I thought I saw him do it earlier too.
Let me check. I can't get the thing to scroll backwards.
Never mind, maybe I'm just totally imagining things.
Hunger Games.
I feel like this conversation has been getting steadily, like, less coherent as we've been going. Okay, new topic. I pre-ordered my VR headset, finally.
I will not.
I've been waiting for 4 years to buy a VR headset, and the Valve HTC Vive finally went up for pre-order, and it was $900, and I pre-ordered that crap.
Oh my gosh. I am not going to put a VR headset on.
You're like, at all? You don't
No.
want one?
I don't want it at
Why
all.
not?
Dude. I don't know.
I am so excited for one. I've been waiting so long, and Valve announced theirs, and I was like, oh my god, it's going to be even better than I thought it was, and it finally went up for pre-order, and I'm so happy.
I just feel like perfect VR is like the step before the singularity, and that scares me.
It's not perfect VR, it's just good enough VR that it should be an extra fun thing. And also, Singularity is AI, they really don't have anything to do with each other.
Dude, you say that now.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna keep saying that because they don't have anything to do with each other. Now, you could, you know, end up in a different problem, which is like, what is that, I forget the name of the theory, but there's, somebody at some point suggested that the reason we haven't run into alien life yet is that eventually every society would get to the point where they developed basically the holodeck, and they would just enter it and never come back out again.
Huh.
Because they'd never have a reason to. Like, they're like, every member of them would be perfectly fulfilled with everything that they want, and so they'd never have a reason to go out and explore or to try to send messages into space or anything like that.
That makes a sense, actually.
It just becomes like super World of Warcraft or something.
Well, there's like that bottleneck for like civilizations, and like the bottleneck point is is it nuclear power? It's like where most civilizations would, like, theoretically, of course, most civilizations would die out at that point because they just like nuke themselves to death.
That's the old version, yeah. It's just that you just destroy yourself.
You just destroy yourself. But if you can get past that bottleneck, then you just go into like hyperspace travel from there.
Well, hopefully we go that direction. They are one of the only news stories I've been paying attention to that I've been editing, because I actually have developed this ability to edit a news story and then immediately forget it after I'm done. So I get home and my parents are like, what did you edit today? And I'm like, I don't know. Something.
It's like high school over again. Yeah. What'd you learn at school? Nothing.
But I've been paying attention to all the space stuff, and an astronaut from Houston who I think may have been at the Comic-Con we went to, and we didn't go talk to him. I don't remember. There was an astronaut at the Comic-Con that Rachel had dinner with once.
Were you in Houston recently?
It wasn't recently. It was last year. Is when we got our picture with Stan Lee.
Oh, okay.
And anyway, he's been up in the space station for a year, which matches up.
Right.
And just got back. And they're apparently doing all these tests and stuff on, like, extended space travel because they're trying to get Mars missions set up and stuff, so that's exciting.
Yeah, because I was recently in Houston last weekend for a magic event.
Yeah.
But there was also a rodeo going on at the same time. Hi, Brentel. And there was also like a giant anime convention. I'm not into it
That's an
all.
interesting combination.
Um, I was like the most like nope out of that. It was funny because we were with one of my roommates who's really into anime, and so he was our guide to all the people dressed up.
Oh yeah.
So we were just like walking towards the magic event. He'd be like, "Oh man, that's such and such from whatever," and just like he like got up. He was like actively upset at himself when he couldn't remember what somebody was. It's like, man, don't worry about it. I mean, they got a costume, they're fine. It's like, I know where they're from, and I was just like, oh man. I recognized all of like 2 costumes like all weekend. One was a League of Legends character, and the other one was the Joker, like a Jared Leto version of the Joker. If you're out there and listening, it was a sweet costume, Joker.
Hi, Professor Bass. We
What is that?
First Bass. I think it was supposed to be first base, but the way we pronounce names and the way he put the S in front of the R makes it Professor Bass. So, we almost got a chance to go to PAX actually, but ended up not because the tickets sold out like right before we ended up being able to buy them.
Oh, PAX South?
So that was too bad, yeah. Because I'd like to go to a video game convention at some point. I've been to a Comic-Con. I'd like to go to a video game one.
Is that video games? I thought it was just gaming in general.
It might just be gaming. But I saw some photos from it, and it was a lot of video game stuff.
Bye, Davey Hurst.
We've also had it suggested that we should go to VidCon at some point, which would be fun if we could somehow manage to afford that in any way.
Like they want you to run a panel there?
We've had people in our comments suggest that we go to VidCon.
If you're ever offered to do a panel at any convention,
well,
tell
yeah,
me.
Obviously we're going, but that's going to be a while before that happens, I think.
We're getting close to 10,000 subscribers.
We are. That is actually a pretty exciting milestone. Ian pointed out he read somewhere that 10,000 is the mark for being able to use the YouTube space. Like if you're in California and want to use their studios.
Oh, really?
That's the line. Which we still can't do because we're not in California, but it's kind of like just it's an exciting milestone, I guess, that like we're big enough to officially be able to use the YouTube space.
Almost. When do you get the YouTube trophy?
I think you get a silver one at 500,000 and a gold one at 1 million.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
You're gonna keep on trucking.
Professor Bass is happy to see you, Ricky.
Yeah, I don't know who he is, but I'm happy to see him.
He knows who you are.
Yeah. Bertel is here. The gang's all here. Chaotic Arrow.
Yeah. I am excited for going to Ireland. I'm going to post a video probably announcing my schedule before I leave, so that anybody who's in Ireland can stop by and hang out for a bit or something. I actually I could probably locate some information right here in case anyone later is listening.
You should apparently go to Northwest England so Burntel can assault you with his existence.
I took a train through Northwest England at one point. That's about as close as I got. I would like to see more of England rather than just London at some point. That would be nice. Take just like a road trip around it or something. It'd be the easiest road trip in the world after some of the road tripping I've done through Texas.
So when you were in that video, the Immortals video, were you actually talking about your trip that you're taking on? Like, are you going to go to Germany?
I'm not going to Germany, but yeah, I mean, I was referencing Ireland for that reason, and also because Jeffrey is the most Irish-looking person in the world, and I was secretly just calling him an immortal Irishman again, or making him call himself an immortal Irishman.
Yeah, no, we joke about one of our roommates that he's a ageless entity vampire. And my friends know that if I ever just don't show up for like a week to things, just assume that I'm in the back hanging upside down being drained.
I am going to Dublin for 3 days. I'm going to County Kerry for 2. And I'm going to Galway or Galway. I need to learn how to pronounce these places for another 2 days. Those are my 3 stops.
Nice.
So
How are you getting there? Like, how many stops do you have to fly through?
I'm flying 9 hours to London and then back to
Direct.
Dublin. Yeah, Austin has an
What?
international airport actually, so they have a flight directly to London. It's the same one
Austin
I
to
took
London.
last time. Yep. Um,
Wow.
and it's timed right that I'll be able to just sleep the whole way there. And I have to take the morning shift at work again the week before, so I'll already be primed on the right time zone. So I'll, like, if I just sleep on the plane there, I won't have any jet lag or anything, just like last time. I'll be ready to go. And then I have to take another short flight back to Ireland, even though I fly over Ireland to get to London, but whatever.
I can't sleep on planes. I hate planes.
Yeah, they're not great. Like I remember on my London trip, the hotel was it wasn't like the best hotel. It was like twin beds. They weren't super comfortable, but the previous night I had slept in the middle seat on a passenger plane. So it was like the best night of sleep I've ever had the day afterwards.
But I got a 3DS, so that's what I do on
Yeah,
there.
they have movies and stuff. Definitely I learned on the way back that aisle seat's the way to go. So
I see.
that's what I'll
Well,
be
if I
doing.
sit near the window, I actually just close the window, much to the dismay of anybody in my row, because I can't count that window. I will freak out.
What? Really? See,
I
flying has never bothered me before.
I hate it.
It's the one thing I hear other people talking about
It's
how
because I
like they
only
get
fly
nervous, but
Spirit.
what?
I only fly Spirit.
Is that an airline?
It is.
I've never heard of that before.
Well, here's how Spirit works. Do you want to fly to Las Vegas, Kyle? Because
No.
you can fly $80 round trip.
What? I've never heard of this
But
airline before.
but the reason you're flying for $80 is because the airplane is small. They're wonderful people. I love them. And I always fly Spirit because like they fly a lot of places. They fly out of Dallas and they fly to a lot of different places in the U.S. And they're always really, really cheap. Sometimes they're a little late, and you're only allowed certain things bag-wise. But the planes are a little small. It's definitely no jumbo jet, so you feel the turbulence and such.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe it's because I've only flown in small planes. I've never been on like those like big, like you know, like on the movies, like there's like an aisle on one side, an aisle on one side, and then like the big rows in the middle.
Yeah, that's the one that I have to take to get over to, across the ocean. That's usually when you fly those.
Right. So like whenever I fly, I am on the ones with like 2 seats on each side of the aisle.
Yeah.
That's it. Like the biggest one I was on was like 3 seats on each side of the aisle.
See, even turbulence though doesn't really bother me that much. I don't know why. I don't know.
I don't know. I
It's
just
just
don't
never
like.
been a problem for me, which is nice.
I don't know. Maybe it's just I really just don't like. I mean, like in a car, like I can stop. I can get out of the car.
I guess you have that kind of control, but see, then the same thing is too. Like if you look up any statistics at all, like you're way more likely to die in that car than you are on the plane.
Definitely, and I agree with you in the statistics. But man, I do not like flying. I'll do it. I mean that is honestly like I will fly and I will hit up that airport bar before I get on that plane to make me feel a little better about getting on the plane.
It doesn't even
But
all like I basically go and sit for 9 hours every day at work too. So flying for 9 hours even doesn't like it's just like whatever. It's the same as usual. No problem.
who is the mayor of London, Kyle?
Who is the mayor of London? I have no idea.
Is it Winston Churchill?
That's the last one I'm familiar with.
Is
I'm
it
American.
Charlie? Is it
I don't know
Charlie
any of
Chaplin?
this. See, that's actually one thing that I always feel like super embarrassed about is like people from other countries, England included, know all about what's going on over here, and I don't know crap about what's going on over there.
Wasn't that one chick, the chick who was in Downton Abbey? She's in Doctor Who. She was the mayor of London, wasn't she?
What?
Is that no? Remember that chick? And like she was an elected official, and then, like
Oh,
David Tennant ruined her career.
right. Harriet Jones, MP for Flight All North.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
Or Prime Minister, I guess. Either one.
Was she Prime Minister? I thought she was
Yeah.
like mayor.
She was also fictional, Ricky. I don't know if...
I know she's fictional, Kyle. I'm just saying it could have been an answer. And she had the button, except the button was for Torchwood, which is a little cooler than...
We're still not talking... Like, we keep almost talking about Doctor Who every episode, but we've set episode 10 as Doctor Who episode. Like, me and Ian are gonna get on, and you can join if you want, and we're gonna have a big Doctor Who episode, so we can get all the Doctor Who out of our system.
Episode 10. What episode number is this? All it says is Deadpool and stuff.
This episode is 6, I believe?
I already missed the Jimmy Neutron episode that randomly happened.
Yep, that did happen. I guess we can go and talk about Deadpool, because I don't know where Reed is.
Alright, we'll talk about
Reed.
Deadpool. Boris Johnson?
He's not responding. I don't know who Boris Johnson is.
I feel like all of our subscribers are from England.
It's not... you can break down where views and subscribers are coming from in your analytics, and the vast majority are coming from the US.
Okay.
But I guess our English subscribers are more vocal. In fact, most of our views are coming from the U.S., and the largest percentage of those are coming from California, not even Texas.
Nice.
Which is interesting.
Did you see that map of like fictional characters from each state? Like the number one fictional character from each state.
Oh wait, I may have. Number one in what? Like
it was like characters from states, and like the number one character associated that's coming from that state.
Okay.
So like New Mexico's is obviously
Walter White.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was really hoping Texas would be Hank Hill, but it was actually Beavis and Butthead, which is the same guy, but you know, still.
What was New York? That one seems difficult.
It was Barbie.
What? What?
Yeah. Get wrecked. California's was Marty McFly.
I don't know how this information was gathered. I need more details.
It was sweet. I liked it a lot. Yeah, Barbie was New York. Maine is Paul Bunyan.
Well, sure, because what happens in Maine? But like New York has the entire Marvel cast in it. I had no idea that Barbie came from a place. Like, where is that? I don't know, that's weird.
Kentucky was Rick Grimes, which
I thought he was from Alabama.
I didn't even know that that's where he was from.
The entire thing takes place in Alabama.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just bad at states, but I thought it was... Hannah Montana was in Tennessee, which blew my mind, because I don't know, I guess I just assumed she was from Montana.
Burnt L is asking, did you hear about the Ohio farmer who spent 4 hours writing "No Trump and Horse Manure"? I did. I edited that story at work one day. That is the most we will talk about politics on this show. Okay, Deadpool, because people in the chat are not talking about Deadpool, and Reed's not showing up, so just screw Reed. So what did you think of Deadpool?
I had a lot of fun.
I did too.
I called the post-credit scene, though.
Yeah, I actually was kind of... I was sitting around like, no movie will have a post-credit scene more than Deadpool will have a post-credit scene.
Well, no. I was like, it's going to be the Ferris Bueller.
It's going to be the Ferris Bueller, yeah. I figured it would be something like that. I didn't know they'd go all out with it and have the full...
I was like, they're going to...
Oh, by the way, we're going to be spoiling Deadpool. If you haven't seen Deadpool and you don't want to hear about things that happen in Deadpool, you should probably go ahead and leave the podcast. So, bye, everybody who hasn't seen Deadpool.
Well, I mean, I'm not spoiling anything. I mean, I guess it's spoiling.
I'm not going to try to not spoil Deadpool. I'll say that.
Oh,
so if a spoiler slips out, you have been warned.
I enjoyed the soundtrack quite a bit.
I don't really remember the soundtrack.
What? It was like Guardians of the Galaxy good, almost.
Yeah. I guess I just wasn't paying much attention to it. I was thinking, so Deadpool
they
is
played
normally...
an unedited DMX song, also.
Deadpool is normally not the sort of thing I would watch if it just existed on its own. And, you know, I knew it was going to be Deadpool. Deadpool is what he is, so obviously it was going to be overly violent, and it was going to be, you know, like vulgar and all this stuff. And there were two ways they could have done it. It could have been done just for the hell of it, and it could have been done with some kind of purpose. And I think they did a really good job at doing the second one, and I was very impressed with it. That is my general review for it.
The best jokes in Deadpool are all of the Ryan Reynolds jokes.
Yeah, those were really good.
Those are the best jokes in the entire movie.
I think I probably didn't even catch all of them, but yeah, there were some really good ones.
Like he's on, like his face is a million places in that movie, and then when he has his own face stapled to him.
Oh yeah.
Like he staples the Ryan Reynolds face onto his face. I was laughing for like ever.
I also really liked that the entire conflict of this movie was so like low stakes compared to every other Marvel movie.
Oh yeah.
Like even when you have like Daredevil, right, the small hero, he's trying to stop his city block from being blown up or whatever. And Deadpool was just like he was just trying to take revenge on this one guy. Like the whole conflict was make me pretty again. That was the whole thing. That was his whole goal, was hunt this guy down and make him, you know, back into Ryan Reynolds level of prettiness, which was refreshing and nice and petty, and I think really fit well with the character. Also, I liked that they went dark for the backstory, like that they did do that and didn't just make it cheap and cartoony the whole time. And at the same time, it was a great call to start with Deadpool and go into flashback for that, because it would have set a really weird tone for the movie if they had done it chronologically, actually.
Right.
It was a good example of how to use, what's the word? How to use a non-chronological timeline, like non-conventional timeline for storytelling purposes, rather than just, you know, for 'cause it's cool.
Right.
Everybody's listing off jokes in the chat. I'm forgetting about. Remember the burnt else.
Like
the fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls. That was great.
I just had a lot of fun at that movie, and I went to like the equivalent of a midnight showing.
Yeah.
Of it.
What does that mean?
Well, because like nobody does midnight showings anymore, and that's something I could rant on for an entire hour on its own, about how, because like now, like the Thursday before a movie releases, like it's like, yeah, you can come watch that movie at like 7 or at 10, but it's not the midnight release, you know?
Yeah.
Remember when those were like a big thing?
Kind of. I never went to one, but I knew they existed.
I went to like the midnight releases for all the Harry Potter movies and everything like that, and you get like the big crowd. We went as close to midnight as we could for Star Wars, and still there was like there was like a 7. There were like 2 showings ahead of us that had already seen it, and I was like, that's not as fun. Like it's all about like waiting in that line for.
Oh yeah, because at that point it comes out on Thursday.
Right.
That's not an early release. That's a Thursday
release.
Release.
It just comes out on Thursday. But like it's all about like waiting in that line, being way late at night, and like getting in that packed theater, and everybody is like screaming at the screen.
See, the next marketing technique will be like, do you miss the old midnight releases? Well, now midnight on Thursday we'll be showing the first, right?
Oh my goodness.
And they'll just keep backing it up. It'll be like Black Friday sales.
Well, like they cheat because they count those Thursday ticket sales as the opening weekend.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of cheating.
Thursday ain't no weekend. I don't know. Yeah. Thursday is no weekend for me. So.
I also really liked the Charles Xavier joke. That one I found funny when they were dragging him off to go see the professor, and he was like, Stewart or whoever the other guy is, I forget. These timelines get so confusing.
Oh yeah.
It was interesting too because it almost felt, because of all they kept making like
you could tell that like Ryan Reynolds was really, really into it. Like he was completely sold on the idea.
They kept making jokes at the expense of the studio too, which was interesting because it made the movie feel smaller in a way. Like it made it feel like less of a big production. It like almost independent in a weird way, you know?
Right.
because the characters were sort of in on the the studio jokes. It felt like it was a strangely almost indie thing. But then it's literally the same studio that just made the newest Fantastic Four movie.
Right.
It's such a difference between the two.
Well, like you could tell Ryan Reynolds really had a big passion for the movie.
Yeah.
He even talks about the sequel that didn't even have a green light yet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot.
He talks about it in the movie, in the middle of the movie. He talks about the sequel that was not even greenlit.
Didn't he say it at the end? When he said like which villain was going to be in it or something like that.
Not at the end. Like he's in the middle of the movie. He's in the middle. He's like, yeah, and next time we do this, we're gonna have cable, and it's gonna be really awesome. And like, you've seen Inside Out? Yes, I have.
I have not still. I'm way behind on Pixar movies.
Well, like, the thing is, like, with Pixar, no, we're sidetracking here a little bit.
Is that all it takes?
Yeah. I don't know. It's like the movies they're all good movies, right? Except for Cars, but it used to be like such a special thing. Like that's why they only came out like once a year. There was a Pixar movie.
Yeah, they do seem to be coming out a lot faster now.
But now, like the computer animation's just gotten better, and it's not like the techno marvel that it used to be. Like Disney can make those movies without Pixar now.
Well, except that Pixar made the part that was actually good about the movie, which was an amazing story.
That's true. Well, I mean, some of the Disney computer animated movies are
Disney does some decent ones. Pixar was the one that had that reputation, though, of being consistently always freaking amazing every single time.
I'm sorry, but Frozen I enjoyed.
I still haven't seen it.
Oh, how can you have not? And then was it Meet the Robinsons was good?
That was good. That one, I always forget that one exists, as does everyone else, I think, but it was a good one.
I think that's the only movie like where time travel makes sense. Probably not, though. There's probably a loophole somewhere. There's always a loophole in time travel movies. But apparently the new one they just released this weekend is supposed to be really good.
The Zootopia one?
Yeah, but I'm not going to go see that anytime soon.
That was exactly the same. Me and Reed just had that conversation yesterday. He was like, do you think Zootopia looks good? And I'm like, yes, but I probably won't see it because I don't see anything.
Well, it's like, I don't mind seeing it. I just, not the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Reed. And, like, I don't want to go see London It's Fallen.
Come be in the podcast for the last,
I feel like I've seen
5 minutes.
that movie. I've seen London Has Fallen, like, I feel like I've seen that movie like 8 times already.
Get over here.
What? I don't want to be
Get over here.
I don't want to be the camera.
Get over here.
No.
God.
Hold on, is Reed gonna show up?
He's standing in the background. But that's it. Apparently that is the extent of what Reed is going to do. We're already talking about Deadpool. Because you took too long.
Well, then there's nothing left to talk about, is there?
You come share your opinion on Deadpool.
Deadpool was good.
Is-
See us out. They can't hear you back there. You need to come over here.
Eminem is not a fictional character, actually. Wisconsin's was Michael Kelso. I remember that. That was pretty funny.
I think Burnell was asking about which one?
I want to know who Wyoming is.
Wyoming. Yeah.
I know Idaho was Napoleon Dynamite.
That makes sense.
I don't know who Wyoming was.
What else about Deadpool? And
It
the
was
criticisms of it? I've forgotten already.
I don't want to spoil a lot because still people have not seen it and you just need to go see it. Like it's
I
just
gave a warning
incredible.
about it.
Huh?
I gave a warning.
I know you gave a warning, but
They're all still here.
I read Sans. But yeah, I like how he just like lumbers off. But no, like the movie is just a ton of fun, and just go see it. Go see it again.
I was
give that
impressed. There were a lot of ways that it could have been done very poorly, and it was not. It was done well.
like
So
give that studio money. Like God knows they needed after
no.
Fantastic Four.
No, don't give the studio money. Give like Ryan Reynolds money or something.
Give Ryan Reynolds money.
The studio does not get money because they make one good movie. I say one good movie. They also made one of my favorite movies ever that nobody else agrees with me on, but
What is it?
Spider-Man 2.
No,
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man. Oh,
The Amazing Spider-Man
Amazing
2.
Spider-Man 2? No, that movie's not good.
Yeah, we're not going
Spider-Man
to talk about
2
that right now. It's too late for that right now. I'm just dropping
That's
that bomb and
that-
we're leaving because we're at the end of the podcast now, everybody.
That's an entire episode.
Me and Ian should also do an episode defending The Amazing Spider-Man 2 so that we can just send that to anybody from now on. We don't have to have the conversation anymore.
Also, fun stuff before I forget, I have to mention this. I discovered on YouTube a channel called Mom's Spaghetti.
Oh, yeah.
It is only a channel of somebody flying a drone around.
What?
Their tagline on their channel is, flying till your knees are weak and your arms are heavy. And they have, like, no subscribers. I subscribed to them because the joke was too good. And then watched all their videos because they only have like 5 of them, and I wanted to make sure they were all just random drones flying around places. So that was the most interesting thing I found on YouTube. They have 8 subscribers.
Well, we will be back next Saturday with another podcast. Thank you, everybody, for watching live. I think next Saturday we're going to try to have James Bowman on / Donkey's Bazooka from Newgrounds / the voice of the guy over the intercom from our Faster Than Light video. I think that's the only other thing I've had him in.
Thanks.
So, everybody have a good weekend. Any final words, Ricky? It
It
sounds like you're dying, but do you have anything, anything left?
No, I'm good.
Okay. See you all later.
Bye, guys.
Ta-da.
What? I'll get you cards.
Okay, we are clear.
Alright, we're clear?
Yep.
That was fun. I must immediately jettison towards a magic tournament. I'm sorry.
Okay. Thanks for joining.
No problem. It was fun. The Kyle and Ricky show, I think, was much successful. I should be good next week, too.
Okay.
All right, then.
I'll keep
I will
you
talk
updated.
to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
What are you talking about? What is active?